Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Ben.
You alright?
I'm really well, you?
Yeah, all good, thank you, mate.
Good.
So
Get belted. It's important.
yeah, definitely want to be legal. It's sort of anniversary time. There's two significant birthdays of happening in your life.
Yeah, I didn't know you were going to mention that.
No, don't worry. We won't mention that one. But from ACS Office Solutions perspective, next year is a significant year for you.
Yeah, next year's 25 years.
And well, a lot of people in Northamptonshire predominantly, but you know, across the country as well, will associate ACS being, or the heart of ACS being at Brackmills.
Yes, since 2000. Yes.
So you moved there in 2000.
2000.
But we're gonna take a ride down memory lane and go back to where it all began.
Where it all kicked off.
So talk me through it then.
Laurel and Hardy. Back in '95. Sounds like a song, I tell you, December '63. But I'll save that for another day, honestly. But but yeah, no, it's.
Well, just on that, can you remember what was number one at the time when you went into business?
No, I honestly can't, but I'm sure you know.
Well, something's telling me that it was Share. Love can build a bridge. But don't worry, I couldn't find that on my compact disc player.
Thank God for that.
So yeah, but let's go back then. So obviously, so much has changed, but just take us back to 95 then.
So 95, briefly, I started working with John Harley at a PLC company called Wildings. Worked with him for 3 years after uni. We kicked off ACS. There's a guy called Mick Spittle involved. That's where we're going to now, in Birchfield Road East. And we started in a converted bathroom bed. There was one desk and 2 phones, 2 chairs.
Converted bathroom?
That's hand on heart. It was a converted bathroom.
Wow.
And we just had fun. And we came from a corporate background. We said we'd never work with miserable people. And we've tried to hold true to that as we've grown over the years, you know. And in our first year, we did £400,000 from a standing start. And I owe so much of that to people like Airflow Streamlines and Wilson Connolly of the day. And our very first customer on our sales ledger is a customer today. That's a company called O'Riordan Bond. They get mixed press, but they're still a customer 24 years later.
Brilliant. And in terms of the offering, if you like, so if you can remember back to that first, the first deal, the first transaction with O'Riordan Bond, compare your portfolio of services and products then to now. Yeah, I'd imagine they're very different.
Very, very different. Very, very. So in those days, we were putting the first networks into business. We were putting the first, you know, we were just doing office furniture, just desks and chairs, and that was as exciting as it got, you know. And we were a bit odd because the workplace, you know, you either had furniture companies or you had IT companies. You didn't have one that really understood the whole office environment. That made us odd, made us different. Some clients got it, some clients didn't. Those that got it, probably still with us today. But the business today, I mean, we talk about a modern connected workplace, and you know, you want to attract the best talent, you want to keep the best talent, you've got to have a great workplace. And then a great workplace has got to have great IT, and it's got to be underpinned with great security. So our business today, that's what it does, it creates a great workplace.
And it's interesting because we, in the March edition of All Things Business, we we asked a question which was around flexible work space.
Yeah. One of my passions.
Yeah. Well, obviously your desk with the what's the correct description or terminology?
It's a sit-stand desk, but I would argue that's not even my desk. I would say, you know, work's what we do. It's not where we go. That's really how I feel nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's a last 3 year massive shift.
Because one of the things we ask the questions we do each month, and we invite readers and contributors to share their thoughts and views, and you know, Northamptonshire continues to buck the trend nationally because of how vibrant and how many great businesses we've got locally. And our unemployment statistic is less than 4%. I think it's 3.9 or 3.8, which is great, but there is still a skills shortage within the county. But what employers need to do is create those exciting and innovative workplaces to retain the staff.
To attract them so that when they leave the universities, they stay in the county as well. One of my passions of many years, and that's why we, absolutely. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. So
what would, you know, 24 years in business, there's got to be a couple of real standout highlights. Give me one of them.
Too many. I mean, there's too many. I mean, there's one client asked us to build an office for them in Paris. We took a team out to Paris, and you know, the lorries went, the crowd went on the Eurostar, and one of the famous quotes of that night, because we went out and had a drink, obviously.
Test the red wine.
Absolutely, only red wine. Dennis Leach, who's still with us 20 odd years later, who stands up in a restaurant full of the hoi polloi of Paris and says, "I am ACS," and then everybody stood up in turn and says, "No, I am ACS." A real Spartacus type kind of.
Oh, brilliant.
That was beautiful. John Harley and I doing a cabling job in a grade 1 listed building in Edinburgh. We weren't the best data cabling team in Northamptonshire at the time. We just said we could do it, and we did it. And we were only about 2 years old in business, and you rocked up outside, and there were chandeliers on each floor in this grade 2 listed building in Edinburgh.
Why am I thinking Del Boy Rodney?
Well, that's what we honestly, we looked at each other in the car and we said, "Right, Del Boy, right, Rollins." and even Laurel and Hardy's come out over the years, but honestly, the MD of this PLC company gave us the keys at 7 PM in the evening, and when he came back at 7 AM in the morning, John and I handed the keys back to him, and the job was done. And that client went on to spend in excess of £2 million with us, but that was the first opportunity. So that was proud. It's just the stories and the places we've been, just endless, bud. And how about you?
Well, actually, do you know? Can you remember the first time we met?
No. I don't know.
Shall I tell you? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when I first met you.
Go on.
It was.
Okay.
It was. There was a business exhibition at the Northamptonshire County Cricket Ground.
All right.
And I think ACS were a sponsor or headline sponsor of some sort. And I'm going straight over here, aren't I?
You are.
And you had a Jaguar, the sports.
The old SK8. Yeah.
And I remember, and I'm not blowing smoke here at all, but you could just tell. You could tell by your aura that you. I thought, yeah, that guy's impressive. Never met you. I think you did a speech or something, and I thought, yeah, you were good. And then, do you remember Julia Schumacher used to run the Northampton Ambassadors Club with what was
Southworth?
Yeah, great
Northampton
guy.
Enterprise.
Yeah, that's it. And I was asked to mediate an event that happened at the Kettering Conference Centre. It was a fantastic event. I think Peter O'Gorman from Santander was one of the speakers, and it was around 06, 07,
okay.
and he was a very, very good speaker.
Yep.
But you and Floyd Graham did a presentation.
Yes.
And that's when I thought, wow, this guy really impressed me. And it was. Do you know what the story was?
No, go on.
It was about having the right people on the bus.
Yeah.
And that really
Jim Collins, Good to Great, is one of the best books. I read books every month, and that's still in my top 10. Still in my top 10. But no, you're next right.
Okay.
But everybody must read The Chimp Paradox by Dr. Stephen Peters. I mean, that book, just right here, is for any age, for anybody, just a great read.
Yeah. And so we've probably known each other. So that's got to be, it's got to be pushing on 14 years.
Yeah, I remember doing a talk at Whittlebury where you were there, and it was just before the World Cup, and I was going out to South Africa. And I themed it all around the World Cup, kept rocked up with me footballs.
Those
you got the question right, threw you a football.
That was it.
Good days, good fun.
Very good.
So, here we go.
And here we are.
The old ACS.
So if I
hair and
safely,
beauty, hair and beauty.
Bear with me.
Can I just share one thing? I was just thinking about this trip down memory lane. Today, our first employee, Claire Bowers, still with us.
Really?
Gordon Howe, you've just met in our head office, still with us. He's himself number 4 employee. Nick left us recently, but she's hugely successful. Ron retired. You know, so the core, until they got too intimate in there and you knew who was and wasn't wearing deodorant, are still with us, And you rock up here, and you know, that used to be the lovely old Oliver Adams where you go for your bacon butty in the morning. That there used to be the tackle shop. So when clients said, could we come to your offices to have a look at your offices, even though it was important to us what we did in their offices, we kind of tried to dissuade them, because they brought the maggots in at 7 o'clock every morning. It wasn't the best business location, I think you'd agree.
How long were you here for until you moved?
We were a good 5 years. We bought the building in the end, expanded to about 18, 20 people in this building, and then we moved to Brackmills. And Brackmills, when we moved in, albeit it was a derelict building, and we did it up because that's what we do. But we were rolling around in there, you know, we had our own bar, our own pool table. Yeah. You'd have liked it.
And now, John Harley's he's on the board of the Brackmills bid.
Yes.
And you guys are obviously, you know, playing an integral part there, because again, I was at an event at Decathlon, invited by Brackmills bid, and I didn't realise just how much great work Brackmills bid do, but also Brackmills as an area wasn't the greatest 15 years ago, was it?
It's been on a journey.
It's been on a phenomenal journey, really, because I didn't realise how much crime there used to be compared to now.
No.
One of the chief inspector presented at the event at Decathlon, and if you look at the comparables, the crime rate on Brackmills is nowhere near as what it was.
Next to nothing now.
Yeah.
Next to nothing. So it's really good. It's the vote today on whether it keeps the investment, but Brackmills is a great place to do business. I mean, you know, Northamptonshire, it's a great place to do business. So we just need to spend more money locally. And back in December, you'll know, was it Lord Bird gave the talk about the social echo, social trading, and that's what we all need to do. Yes, we want to win business outside the county, but if we can buy local, we should buy local. It's one of my passions for over 20 years.
Yeah, I said many years ago, and we did this exercise with a company based in Wellingborough on the Findon Road, and it was around, unless you're going through your suppliers list, how many of them have got an NN postcode? And yes, there are going to be specialist suppliers that are outside of that, but you know, everything from your IT and your furniture, but even if it's your fire extinguishers and your office stationery supplies, and where you get your coffee from, for example, for staff, unless that makes a difference.
Absolutely it does.
And now listen, well look, I think that's a really good note to end on. So John, here's to the last 24 and a bit years.
I didn't get to sing, Ben.
Nah, but don't worry about that. There's plenty of time. The Wellingborough Road's waiting for you.
Okay.
But no, really, really grateful for this, and wishing you and John and Gordon and the rest of the team all the best for the next 24 and a bit.
That's great. Thanks, Ben. Thank you.